And that's where I am happy with the opportunity with Zoom, and a lot of this digital gives us a better opportunity to connect with each other.
And then I get tons of hate mail from people I never met.
I understand that. I understand that quite well.
Like Judy in Omaha doesn't like something I said, and I'm like, Judy, scroll.
Well, isn't that funny? So, isn't that funny that you would say that though? Just like, I mean, I both love and hate social media, because the funniest thing to me is I can put something that is so just informative, or we can have something out there on Facebook or Instagram or whatever that's just here. It's, something, 3 sentences, it's very informative, it's just giving you, just some simple information that's good to know. And man, people will jump on that like it's like like it's blasphemy. And you're like, I'm just sharing some important information that's good for you to know. But then somebody will put something like totally off the chain, and everybody will be like, yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Like, wait, nobody's going after that. It's like a reversal. Like the sharks are going after the green leafy vegetables, and and the sardines are going after the chum.
Yeah, it's just I prepare students because I promote social media use heavily, and I'm like, just make simple videos of like what you do and talk about how you help people with back pain, that sort of thing. And they always kind of come back to me and they're like, oh, somebody left like a negative comment. And I'm like, what did it say? And they're like, what, they said I was fat. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's tons of losers on the internet.
Right.
There's no shortage, but like the difference is if you do anything, somebody's going to criticize.
Right.
But if you make video and show people who you are, you're going to find the clients that want to work with you. And it builds kind of a digital word of mouth. Like don't worry about too much about that. Like even I get that. Don't worry about that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That really is what it is. The information is out there, and there's a lot of information out there, and I hope that most people would kind of glean what is very relevant, and not always, go with what's kind of, don't always believe the craziest. It's not always true.
Well, in what's funny is a couple of years ago there was some people posting on Facebook that they were going to try and deregulate massage therapy in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And I had already seen the deregulation bill, and the only place it mentioned was skincare professionals could not advertise as massage therapists under Chapter 480, as defined by Chapter 480. So I responded to the post, and I actually copied the one place that massage was mentioned, and I said they're not looking to deregulate. What they're looking to do is just make sure that these people aren't trying to purport themselves as massage therapists. The person said thank you, immediately took the post down. Well, then a couple of days later, someone else did the same thing, and I responded with the same thing that I did with the first guy. And this person goes, oh no, I have it on good authority that the governor and one of the senators, they're going to try and slide it in there at the last minute. Well, I had this person's phone number, so I immediately called them and I said, hey, I just wanted to have a chat with you about the post on Facebook, because if I'm misinformed, I want to know, and I want to be able to contact our lobbyists. And if your person's misinformed, I want to help educate them. Never heard a thing. I think some people are just agents of chaos on the internet.
That's me.
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
Well, there was an interesting EdNet is a massage therapist group on Facebook for massage educators, and there was a conversation, and I don't remember the organization's name, but they were doing something to take portions of core curriculum, and it was the non-hands-on portions, and make it automated and online in some form. And school owners in Texas were, rallying the troops to get this, shut down. And I'm like, oh man, it's like what I see fundamentally, it's not just the massage industry, by the way. I think it's across all industries, and particularly during COVID. I had a colleague who talked to me because I taught heavily online pre-COVID, and he's like, oh, you're going to have competition now. And I'm like, there are 800 hours of my classroom instruction online for $7 a month.
Right.
I can turn on cameras in 15 minutes and stream from 4 camera angles with anatomy on screen with perfect audio and answer phone calls live. There's a long way to go before anybody catches up.
Right.
The difference is I see a piece of, like, when you think about, don't think about replacing core curriculum or replacing hands-on touch or contact hours. The supplementation process is very hard for me to argue with because it's easily reproducible, less expensive to deliver. So it's like, kind of think about that core curriculum piece, but now you have an online portal where you could access information at will to be able to review, refresh, or while you're in school. And I could see why an organization could see a financial motive to take the components of core curriculum that they could and put it online. But the pushback against it is I feel like school owners, at least in Texas, I feel like fundamentally they're fighting online education. I don't know how they're going to win that battle, but it's like this technology continues to get smaller and more potent, and it's just a matter of who can put out information inexpensively that draws people in to continue educating them. It's like, I don't want the quality of education or massage therapy to go down. It's just the opposite. We might have a difference of opinion of how that is accomplished, but I keep supplementing as heavily as I can related to the curriculum I'm teaching, because I have students who write me who have never taken an in-person class with me, who are like, dude, you transformed my entire practice for $7. And I'm like, well, great, good, let's go.
Well, and you think about, when I was in school, you could visit the school library. There were videos to check out. There were, so what part of this, a good portion of the online component replaces some of what you would have in school, the whole video library that you would have in school. And if it's live, like a lot of your courses are, then you're saying, you can actually have interaction. So it's not just a video that you're distanced from.
Yeah.
You can actually interact with someone who's teaching it. So yeah, there's such a variety there's so much different media that can be used to enhance education. Yeah, I think that's the thing, as long as that core and touch stays pretty solid. That's what we're most concerned about. You can't feel 5 pounds of pressure in a video.
Yeah, then for me as an educator, living in Austin, because I deal with students locally, in my experience, this is me, this is Robert being ornery, the students don't so in core curriculum, you have to go through 500 hours. That's the law, it's the rules. When you take CE classes, they'll take 2 days and then you don't see them again. And I'm like, why don't we just meet once a month? They're like, oh, that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, we kind of understand that. So I think that would maybe be the other concern I think I have, kind of staying on topic yet jumping a little bit, and that is a lot of therapists' interest, being vested in their profession and committing to something other than just the job. Do you go to massage school to learn how to be a massage therapist, get your license, and then 6 to 8 hours a day, you just go to your job, you go home, is that entirely what you want? Do you want to get better by taking more classes? Do you want to get more involved? We are a volunteer. FSMTA is a member-driven, volunteer-led organization. And when we say volunteer, it is volunteer-led. So sometimes not enough volunteers. So I don't know if there was a time when we had too many volunteers, but so sometimes it's as simple as, like you said, when you're talking about classes, meeting once a month, getting together once a month. This is something for us too. We have a number of committees that do different things that help to promote a lot of education components, a lot of maybe sports massage, maybe different benefits and things require a meeting 1 hour a month. So that's not much of a commitment just to meet via Zoom for an hour.
Aw.
But I'm too busy. I don't have time for that.
No, and at the same time, like I'm providing stuff, $7 a month is a subscription online, right? Then they're like, but I want to go to Hawaii. And I'm like, oh, it's funny how you're broke, but like you want to go to Hawaii.